This is the first free verse activity that you're going to do. This features the poets Sylvia Plath, Walt Whitman, and E.E. Cummings. So just a little bit of background information about each poet. Sylvia Plath was born in 1932 and she died in 1963. Sylvia Plath was known to be a confessional poet. So she wrote a lot of things that women just did not write about. She did suffer with some mental health issues. She did ultimately die from suicide, but she just wrote profound poetry because she talked about things that were not talked about in that time period. So this first poem here is called Edge by Sylvia Plath. So we're just going to read it together, and then I might say my own interpretation down here, but we're not going to go over it extensively in case you want to pick this as the one that you would like to analyze. So the woman is perfected. Her dead body wears the smile of accomplishment. The illusion of a Greek necessity flows in the scrolls of her toga. Her bare feet seem to be saying, "We have come so far, it is over." Each dead child coiled, a white serpent, one at each little pitcher of milk now empty. She has folded them back into her body as petals of a rose close when the garden stiffens and odors bleed. From the sweet, deep throats of the night flower, the moon has nothing to be sad about, staring from her hood of bone. She is used to this sort of thing. Her blacks crackle and drag. So, as you can see, there is no rhyme scheme in this, so that does help categorize it as free verse. You can see here that she's talking about a woman who is dead, and she is kind of talking about how she's not free. She doesn't have to worry about things. There are a couple of allusions in this, especially to Greek mythology. If you want to do some research on that, you may. But you can see that she's talking about here is that the woman is not sad that she's dead. She almost feels free, which does kind of go with the confessional poetry that I was just talking about, and also goes along with her life. I mean, she was a very sad person, and she did end up committing suicide, but her poetry helped her deal with that for a really long time. Okay, E.E. Cummings is our next one. I carry your heart with me, I carry it in. So E.E. Cummings was born in 1894 and then died in 1962. And he was really known for his unconventional poetry. So there is no rhyme scheme here, but you can see his punctuation is super weird. E.E. Cummings is very, very popular. He has written over like 2,000 poems, was also a painter. But we're going to read through this one. Take notice to his punctuation, his parentheses, and that sort of thing. So, I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. I'm never without it. Anywhere I go, you go, my dear. And whatever is done by only me is your doing, my darling. I fear no fate, for you are my fate, my sweet. I want no world, for you, beautiful you are, my world, my true. And it's you are whatever a moon has meant, and whatever a sun will always sing is you. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root, and the bud of the bud, and the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than soul can hope or mind can hide. And this is the wonder that's keeping the stars apart. I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. So this is definitely a love poem that he's writing to his love, and he's basically just confessing that he will always carry her in his heart, that she is his world, that sort of thing. And then Walt Whitman, this is a shorter one that I chose just because I didn't want to overwhelm you, but Walt Whitman was born in 1819 and died in 1892. But Walt Whitman is the father of free verse. He wrote a ton of poetry. He was a humanist, and he wrote more about situations than he did about just free ideas. So this one here I thought was really interesting. So it's called A Glimpse. It's a shorter one, but he does have very long poems. So, a glimpse through an interstice caught of a crowd of workmen and drivers in a barroom around the stove late of a winter night, and I remarked, seated in a corner, of a youth who loves me and whom I love, silently approaching and seating himself near, that he may hold me by the hand. A long while amid the noises of coming and going, of drinking and oath and smutty jest. There we two, content, happy in being together, speaking little, perhaps not a word. So Walt Whitman was gay, and he did write about men and that sort of thing, which was very unusual for his time period. But I just thought that this was kind of a beautiful poem because he's just recounting a specific moment in his life, or that really stopped him in his tracks. And I think that that's just as relatable as like the more idealistic poetry that E.E. Cummings writes. So you're going to do the same thing down here. You're going to go through the free verse, big six, and then write your paragraph analysis. And then next you're going to go over some modern poetry that was written in 2000s and that sort of thing.